by the creatures of God. Now, the evil which takes place are of two types. There is relative evil, that is evil which you may consider to be evil, but others may not. For example, in the things which God has created, in a fish, for example, you are eating some fish. And in the process of eating the fish, a bone from the fish sticks in your throat. Very painful. You have to be rushed to hospital. Maybe they have to cut open your throat to take out this fish bone. For you, that was an evil event. It was painful. It was harmful. This is evil. However, relative to that fish bone, that bone was good. It was a part of what constituted its body, that enabled it to function, to live, and to swim in the sea, etc. So this is not pure evil. It was evil relative to yourself, and that evil took place by God's will. However, there also exists another category, which is that of pure evil. Pure evil now is one where the intent, it is evil from beginning to end. The intent behind it is evil. And this is that which comes from man, from the choice of man, as well as from those spiritual beings known as the jinn. They also have the choice of good and evil, and they're choosing evil and doing it by the will of God. This becomes pure evil. So all of this takes place by the will of God, because if it were not so, then it means that God's powers are limited. We would then be limiting God. It would be like us in the sense that there are some things we have power over and some things we don't. No, God has power over all things. Nothing takes place in the universe except by His will. But evil, which comes from His creation, is relative evil. It may be harmful to some, but not to others. But pure evil is a product of the choice of evil over good. This is produced by man and by the jinn, the two creations of God that have free will. A question from Ahmed Abalos in Dubai, writing concerning the Quran. I'm a revert Muslim for the past 7 years. I just want an explanation regarding the first surah, that is the first chapter revealed to Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, which was Surah Al-Alaq. Why the Surah Al-Fatiha, the opening chapter, is the first one written in the Holy Quran? That is, what is our brother's question here? If the first chapter which was revealed was Surah Al-Alaq, why in the Quran that we have today, it is way down the line, almost the end of the Quran, when Surah Al-Fatiha, another verse which was this chapter which was revealed after it, now is in the beginning? Does it mean that people change the order and this type of thing? Actually, there's another question following it by Rashid Arseo in Dubai. He's asking a similar question. Dear sir, I'm a new Muslim. Please tell me why the Quran is not written in the order of revelation. These both questions are dealing with the same issue. The point is that the Quran came to Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, like a jigsaw puzzle with the back up. Angel Gabriel would bring to him certain verses of the Quran and tell him to put them here and there, certain chapters to put them here and there. And he would, in turn, instruct his scribes who were around him, who were recording the Quran, to put this verse in that chapter, this chapter before that chapter, and so on, so according to the instruction of God. Because the complete picture of the Quran he didn't know. It was being revealed to him, And the overall picture, he didn't himself know. So it's not even like a jigsaw puzzle where you can see a picture or you have an idea, you're looking at the picture, and then you're trying to fit these pieces together. But it would be like a jigsaw puzzle where you turn the back. You don't know what the picture is, and you just have the pieces. You know, you could only fit that together if somebody tells you, look, and you fit this piece with that piece and that piece with that piece. That's how the Quran came to Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him. Therefore, he instructed his companions to put it in the order that we now find the Quran. This is the basic understanding. And this, in fact, is part of the evidence for the Quran not being the product of Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him. That he didn't write this. This was not from himself. Because verses are coming from one part and another part. You know, some verses which came in the early period in Mecca were put in chapters of the Quran which were revealed in Medina. Some which were from Medina are put in chapters which were revealed in Mecca. And we know when a person writes, if I am a writer, when I first begin writing, my style is different from what my style is, 20 years later. My style is improving, I'm learning new techniques, I'm developing, so on, so. So if you compare what I wrote in the beginning with what I wrote at the end, there is usually a vast difference between the two. Whereas the Quran has a homogeneous nature, so mixed together, so much unified, that you can take from one end or the other end, put here or there, it all flows. This is part of the evidence that the Quran was not from Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him. So, the order then was set by God. The fact of the matter is, with regards to our question by Brother Ahmed, that Al-Alaq, so the chapter called Al-Alaq, was not in fact the first chapter which was revealed. The first verses of Revelation came from that chapter, the beginning of the chapter. But the whole complete chapter was not the first complete chapter to be revealed. Actually, the very first chapter which was revealed in its entirety, in its completeness, was the chapter known as Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Fatiha, or Fatihatul Kitab, the opening chapter. Because this is the chapter which is recited in prayer. And the very first thing which came after the initial revelation was Jibreel teaching the Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, how to pray. And what came along with that was the chapter known as Al-Fatiha. So this was the first complete chapter to be revealed. With that, dear viewers, I'd like to thank you for following our program. I hope that the explanation which I've given to some of these questions have shed some light for you on questions of a similar nature which you might yourselves be having. And we encourage you to write in, follow our programs as they're going, and to write in any questions that you have which have not been answered so far to me, Dr. Bilal Phillips, the program In the Light of Islam, Sharjah TV, P.O. Box 111, Sharjah. And with that, dear viewers, I'd like to again thank you for being with us in this segment and hope to see you in future segments. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.